Okay, it's time to get real and honest about one of the biggest challenges when it comes to weight management, which is, of course, weight maintenance. Sure, losing the weight and feeling your body transform is really cool and sexy, and that's why most of the programs and the apps and the diets out there are all about that initial challenge and change that can happen over the first several weeks or even several months. Real weight loss management is not a short-term thing, which that's what most of the stuff out there is all about, that short-term perspective. It's really long-term. Like say, for example, if you lost weight over an 18-month period, yeah, I know a year and a half seems like a long time, but given the course of the rest of your life, it's relatively short. And that's why this big, huge, massive chunk of your attention of weight maintenance is where people usually go right off the rails, and that's what I'm addressing today. So there's three big myths within our fitness culture that kind of gloss over and make this period actually a heck of a lot more challenging. The first myth is what I call the fairy tale ending. This idea that once you've lost the weight and you got the abs and stuff, then you're home free and you're set for life. And you ride off into the sunset on your white horse and you've got it made. But that's not at all how it works. In fact, losing that initial weight, that's just the first step in a long journey, because that's fun, that's exciting, but keeping it off and continuously learning how to eat better and feed yourself better and be healthier and being able to manage weight with less and less effort over time is where the real rewards are. Not just getting to that physique that you want, but maintaining it with more productivity. The second myth out there is this idea that you can keep your body looking and feeling the same indefinitely. Like there's a pause button you can hit on your body and you're like, good, I'm set, everything freeze. This is impossible because your body's always in a transient state. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're cold. Sometimes you've got good energy, sometimes it's a battle just to crawl out of bed in the morning, right? Your weight and your body fat levels are exactly the same way. Some days you're gonna be up, some days you're gonna be down. You're like a ship kind of rocking back and forth, which is actually how you stay afloat, but you should anticipate these fluctuations and don't make the mistake of thinking, oh my gosh, the scale's up 3 pounds, what do I do? Panic, or hey, I've lost a few pounds, I'm on easy street, time to eat more cake or whatever, right? You're going to have these fluctuations, and don't forget that these fluctuations are also mostly in our mind and perception too. It's not uncommon for people to have a psychosomatic effect of thinking, I just ran 5 miles, hey, I look lean and great, but then they have, a few French fries. Like I used to do this all the time where I'd have just literally 3 French fries and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm softer, I'm bigger, I gotta go to the gym and work it off, right? We perceive our body being different a lot more than our body actually does change. So again, recognize that this is just a natural course. This happens to everybody and it's going to continue to happen, but put it into the perspective of, yeah, up and down here and there, it's going to happen. And as long as you're kind of staying in that middle ground and not going to huge fluctuations with reactive diet and exercise habits, then you're still gonna be good. And lastly, the big myth is that these diets and these exercise programs and stuff that we may have initially lost the weight with, very structured. You're counting your macros, you're counting your calories, you're tracking your heart rate on your workouts and got everything down to the letter. Fantastic, that's great. But keep in mind that these are the habits that are about setting your foundation, but ultimately building up into the lifestyle that you really want isn't about tracking every little number, but actually developing the skills on how to handle different situations. So you're at a family barbecue and you're like, I don't know how much calories is in this thing or that thing, and FitnessPal is only so accurate. So eventually it's less about actually going with a plan and tracking and counting macros and everything, and much more about developing the skills of knowing how much to eat, knowing when to eat more, knowing when to eat less, knowing how to compensate for things if you haven't been able to get to a workout for several days. Weight maintenance is a skill set. It's something that you learn and develop over time, which means, yes, you're going to have times when you mess it up, and that's okay. Be gentle on yourself because we're all learning this at the same time. But the good news is that because it's a skill set, you can always develop and get better at it. And that's where the real value is, not just in getting the physique that you want, being lean and having abs and stuff, but developing those skills that allow you to keep it with consistently less effort over time to the point where you barely even have to put any effort and attention into it. So I hope that gets the gears turned a little bit. Check out these videos for more on how to develop these weight maintenance type skills that may help you out. Let me know if you have questions down below. Be fit, live free.